Hello guys, welcome back to the Sportsman Untitled Extra, and our big game preview for this week is Sheffield United versus Stoke. Now, we were going to do Southampton-Birmingham, but Birmingham are playing on Monday night. We were maybe going to do Ipswich-Coventry, but Ipswich playing on Tuesday night, so we've landed on Sheffield United-Stoke. But Ben, it's quite a big game for both of these sides, isn't it? Sheffield United look to have turned a corner potentially. We will find out this weekend.
We will, and maybe Stoke are a good opponent. I don't know. Is a wounded animal a good opponent? They lost 3 in 4, haven't they? And we mentioned in the main show earlier in the week that really at half time in the game against Hull, I think most people have been forecasting a 2 or 3-0 Stoke win rather than a 2-1 turnaround. They lost to Coventry. Everyone loses to Coventry at the moment, and they lost at Leicester. And I sensed Mark Robins' irritation with the way they lost, a couple of turnovers, and Mavididi showed up and smacked one in the top corner. It feels like with Stoke at the moment, it's kind of on a level, and like little moment either way for either side wins the game, doesn't it? And there's not much in a lot of this. We'd spoken about the front four, and I didn't start Mubama. They started Bozinek at the weekend, so maybe we'll see him back. But the link is nice. Thomas is getting lots of goal contributions. Manhoff looks good. So does Bay in the 10. But as you well know, having supported a team managed by Mark Robins, they primarily have to keep their shape and do their defensive work. And we talked about Shackles coming off in terms of other teams. So yeah, I mean, I'll hand off to Conor on that one. Does Stoke's recent losing tight games, does that make them a dangerous opponent or a good one to face?
Good one to face. And I think I'm more on the Wilder train at the minute because I've seen it way too many times. I know you're not convinced yet, and I understand that. But
I could be, yeah.
Yeah, I guess would this be the game if they go to Stoke and win? Is that then in the full throng, really, when it comes to Sheffield United? I personally think this isn't a good game for Stoke. I think there's the inconsistency. You look at the form table, last 5 not ideal. I know what Ben was talking about in terms of them narrowly missing, certain points, 3 points. Mavididi, that exquisite goal as well, which took it away from them. But I do look at Sheffield United right now. We've spoken about it on the show that we did earlier on in the week. 10 points off. I think Wilder's going to be looking at this and thinking, you can drag. We could effectively replace, ourselves, into that playoff picture. I'm sort of looking at Sheffield United for this one and thinking this is a good game for them right now.
It's interesting what he's doing with the front two at Sheffield United right now, because he's rotating a lot. Obviously, Bamford came in, started in midweek. I think it was Campbell and Cannon, isn't it, at the weekend. What do you make of his front two options? Because he's got an awful lot of them. Danny Ings in there as well, and he's just trying to find the right balance, but also giving them all about half an hour each. Yeah,
I mean, does that not smack of? I think Campbell's the guy there who I would go with long term. But yeah, you look at it and you think, if you knew what your key guy was, we were talking about West Brom, where it's like, no, Hegamo, every single game, and even if Madger and DK are there, he's going to play. And Ings is obviously coming to the end of his career, and Bamford is almost one of those signings of, well, whatever you get's a bit of a bonus with that. Cannon's the one, isn't it? Because they spent so much money on him, and it's been so kind of disappointing in terms of the output. And he's got a couple of goals recently, so I think if you're a Blades fan and you want to plan for the long term, you want to see Cannon and Campbell be the guys that are built up with the help of a Pat Bamford or a...
It's a perfect game for Cannon as well, this
Danny
one, isn't
Ings.
It, as well?
Yeah, so was Leicester, and he scored against the former club there, and he was on loan at Stoke, I assume you're alluding to there. Am I misremembering it? Last season when Sheffield United were really good, we pretty much knew what the 11 was going to be, and we knew that Sousa and Harmer were the guys, and Cooper, that he was going to be sort of reliant on. So I think it speaks to Wilder maybe not quite being happy with what he's got at his disposal right now, the fact that he is flipping and flopping with the 11s, and there'll be working towards something more settled if the winning run continues.
I can't remember exactly how many 1-goal wins they got last season as they finished third, but it was an awful lot, and it seemed like Wilder relied on individual quality to win those games. He's got the likes of Arblaster coming back. He's got Hamer now, who's come back from injury. Callum O'Hare's having a fine season. Is that a legitimate strategy for Sheffield United to win a lot of football matches from now until the end of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Ben's mentioned as well, Rydveld as well, which they massively missed, I thought, a huge Vinny Souza shaped hole. I think Arblaster coming back in, obviously Rydveld. City Peck appears to be getting back to the City Peck. We know I really loved his performance as well against Sheffield Wednesday. I thought he was excellent. So wheels are in motion right now, but Ben quite rightly brought up Tom Cannon there. They've not really got any form out of Tom Cannon since he was signed for 10 million quid really in January. So if they can, 2 goals in 3 now, isn't it? If he's able to build on that again, they start having a bit, getting a bit of a tune out of him. Tyrese Campbell didn't start the season great. He started to come into a little bit of form as well. What you need is competition up front. Bamford has actually started relatively well as well. If you speak to Sheffield United fans, they're impressed by his input. So if you start to get a little bit of competition in all these places, especially the spine of the team, really, really important. And that's why, we know what Chris Wilder can get to in terms of momentum. January, once again, will be important for them. But, yeah.
And I think Stoke have their own fair share of individual talent, especially going forward. Millian Manhoff's superb. Sorba Thomas having an absolutely cracking season. How do you see them getting at Sheffield United in this one?
Well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to be very solid. Very kind of tight. The fullbacks are actually quite good. I watched the game. Chamado, they're right back, and it feels like there's a bit of license. I know Cresswell's been around for 100 years, but we've said on most shows if you can find a player with 200, 300 Premier League appearances, they'll do you a turn in the Championship. And I guess the idea is that you go wide with the fullbacks, and then if your wingers are if they're Manhoff and Thomas, they're coming inside, and you get players forward, in that manner. Can it be a little bit more expansive? I don't know. I don't know if Mark Robins coaches that way, and even your Coventry side that got all the way to the shootout in the playoff final was very much be solid, get it to Armour, get it to Gyökeres, and that's essentially the highest ranking side Mark Robins has had in his entire managerial career. So that's how they'll try and get at them. Thomas is obviously a massive threat, and the big switch of play to him, and he's coming inside, and at the moment, even if he crosses it, flies in the goal, doesn't it? So that will be, you can even just look and you see where the numbers are, and they're with Thomas down that left-hand side, and maybe some set plays. That's how they'll look to get to them. But we know that, and we did that massive run, didn't we, of Stoke games that were just 0s and 1s, all of them, weren't they, for either side. And there was that weird week where they smashed a couple of teams, and now it's kind of dropping back down. So in terms of getting at them, I kind of don't see it that way, that it'll be process, and it'll be attritional. It always is.
Excellent stuff. So we should come to our score predictions, Conor. I can't decide after Ben's little convincing speech there whether there's going to be lots of goals or not, and I think I'm leaning towards probably not. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's going to be tight. I think Wilder, was speaking about Millian Manhoff, we've spoken about Sorba Thomas as well. There has to be a level of respect there. I just favour Sheffield United on transition. I don't know what Hamer's involvement's going to be. Callum O'Hare's been very, very decent for them this season and really stepped into that role well. Players are improving, players are coming back. It's a strong squad. It's a very strong squad. Do you want me to give a score prediction?
Yeah, please, go on.
0-1.
Oh, interesting. So
what? A great result.
Yeah, that could be massive for them. It's Sheffield United at home, isn't it? So it'll be 1-0.
Sorry, 1-0.
Bramall Lane,
1-0 Bramall Lane, yeah.
I think...
So that'll be 4 defeats in 5 for Stoke.
And 4 out of 4
wins. 4 wins on the bounce for Sheffield United as well.
I'm going with that too, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win.
I bet back Stoke then, hadn't I? And if Stoke are going to win, it'll be 1-0. And Sorba Thomas will be something to do with it. So maybe he's going to step in off the left, cross it all, and Mike Cooper's going to be all over this. He's like, is someone going to head it, or am I going to grab it now? But I'll back Stoke to bounce back just to even things out.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you, Conor. Get your score predictions for Sheffield United versus Stoke in the comments down below. We'll be back on Monday. I won't actually. Conor McGilligan is stepping into the hosting chair for the Sportsman Untitled on Monday, where we'll focus on this result and all of the others from the Championship weekend. We'll see you then.